Welcome back to Audioverse Listening Library, where every word awakens the power within. You are tuning into the Atomic Habits Deep Dive series, a complete breakdown of James Clear's groundbreaking work on the science of habit formation. So, without wasting time, let's dive in. James Clear begins Chapter 5 with a profound truth. A habit must be established before it can be improved. This means most people fail not because their goals are wrong, but because their systems are too big too soon. He introduces the 2-minute rule, a psychological gateway habit principle that states, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. For example, read before bed, read 1 page, run every morning, put on your running shoes, study for an hour, open your notebook. This concept reframes success. The goal is not to finish the act, but to master the start. Once initiation becomes automatic, scaling happens naturally because action follows identity. The chapter argues that progress is built not on motivation, but momentum. In short, you can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. To understand this, let's dive into philosophical insights. From a philosophical perspective, Chapter 5 reflects Aristotle's timeless insight. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. James Clear's focus on initiation over intensity aligns with Stoic philosophy, particularly Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, who emphasized the discipline of beginning as a form of self-mastery. The act of starting reshapes the self. Every repetition of a beginning is a declaration of who you are. In Eastern thought, this parallels Zen practice, the power of simplicity and presence. In Zen archery or meditation, the focus isn't on the target, but on entering the posture correctly. One pure beginning, repeated endlessly, creates excellence. Scientific and psychological insights. Modern psychology explains the 2-minute rule through behavioral activation and dopamine feedback loops. The brain resists complex actions that feel uncertain, but rewards small, achievable wins with a dopamine release, reinforcing the behavior. These micro-successes lower cognitive friction and form neural pathways that make starting easier over time. The 2-minute rule also relates to the Zeigarnik effect, the psychological tendency for incomplete tasks to stay in our mind until finished. By initiating small actions, we trigger mental momentum that naturally seeks closure. Thus, starting small doesn't just build habits, it hijacks the brain's own mechanisms for completion. Audioverse Listening Library tries to explain what James Clear pointed in his chapter through real-life examples. For a moment, consider about a writer's. Writers wants to write something, but instead of aiming to write a chapter, they open the document and type a single sentence. Once momentum begins, flow follows. Similarly, think about the 7 fitness enthusiasts. Instead of working out for 1 hour, they commit to putting on gym clothes. The mental barrier disappears. Students opening the textbook or setting a 2-minute study timer often leads to extended focus sessions naturally. These examples demonstrate Clear's point. Starting removes hesitation, which is the real enemy of habit formation. Clear explains that successful habits are designed around this truth. We can't remove craving, but we can redirect it. For example, instead of craving the scroll of social media, you can crave the satisfaction of learning by pairing your study time with your favorite tea or music. Your brain learns, good things happen when I focus. This principle is called temptation bundling, linking something you need to do with something you want to do. You want to watch Netflix? Do it only while exercising. You love coffee? Pair it with your morning reading. Pleasure becomes a signal for progress. Ancient teachers understood this well. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that discipline without devotion is hollow. And modern science agrees. Habits powered by emotion are the ones that last. But what about bad habits? Clear teaches that we can make them unattractive by reframing how we see them. Instead of saying, "I have to quit sugar," say, "Choose clarity and energy over momentary sweetness." When the identity feels rewarding, the craving shifts. The secret is to make good habits appealing to your future self. Create small rituals that celebrate effort, not just outcome. The brain begins to associate growth with pleasure, and progress becomes addictive in the best way. Traditional productivity culture glorifies massive action. Go hard or go home. James Clear dismantles this myth with a behavioral truth. Consistency beats intensity. The all-or-nothing mindset burns motivation. The start small, stay steady method compounds success. Psychologically, this contrasts outcome-based thinking, focusing on results, versus process-based thinking, focusing on initiation. The latter creates resilience because it builds the identity of a doer, not just a dreamer. One critique of the 2-minute rule is that it can feel oversimplified. Reducing complex goals into fragments may appear trivial. However, Clear's defense is that the 2-minute rule isn't the end goal, but the gateway behavior. It's about lowering resistance, not lowering standards. Deeper limitation lies in motivation sustainability. Without reflection and emotional reinforcement, small habits can plateau. Thus, Chapter 5 should be integrated with identity-based reinforcement from later chapters to sustain depth beyond automation. The act of starting is sacred because it transforms intention into identity. As we move to the next chapter, Clear takes us deeper into the third law, make it easy, where he reveals why friction kills progress and how simplicity is the real secret of mastery. In that chapter, we'll explore how to stay consistent even when motivation fades, the art of showing up when it matters most. Stay tuned for Chapter 6 of Atomic Habits, the cardinal rule of behavior change. What was your biggest takeaway from this chapter? Comment below. I'd love to hear how you're applying atomic habits in your life. Your insights might help someone else too. It also helps, or you can say encourages me to do more. Keep learning, keep evolving. See you all in the next video. Thank you.